Before we start our meeting, we're going to have a work session, and we have Smart Watt Energy to make a presentation or to come up for some questions. Go ahead.
Thank you, Councilman Mundy. As each of you know, on July 28th, I sent you an email giving you an update on where we're at with the energy project related to street lighting. Shortly after I sent out that email, I received a call from Councilman Cassat asking if I could come into tonight's meeting just to give you an update in addition to what I had provided before, and to potentially answer any questions that you may have. I also feel a professional obligation to come back to the city council in response to the resolution where you had requested that I continue with the negotiations and so forth with Smart Watt. So I'm going to give you an update on that. But I have negotiated what I consider to be the next step in the project, and that's what we call an investment grade audit. And in a minute, I'm going to have the professionals go into a lot of detail of what an investment grade audit is. But I negotiated a contract with them to do this audit as you had provided approval for. And it's in accordance to their presentation that evening. It is an investment grade audit where they go out and look at the entire street lighting system and come back with very specific recommendations and budgets and so forth at no cost to the city, and that's what they committed to, and that's what the agreement says, that it's at no cost to the city. So I think we have a good agreement for the next step in place to do the detailed study and to move forward. In addition to that, as a follow-up to those meetings, I've met with the mayor. I've had very positive meetings with the mayor. He indicated that he's in support of the project and would like to see it move forward, sees the benefits of the project, and sees that there's a need for a project to upgrade the street lighting system. So that meeting went very well. I also had Chris Slusher review the agreements from a legal perspective to make certain that he had no problem with them, and Chris did not have any problems with them. So I think we've gotten through a couple critical steps since you passed the resolution. And the next steps to move forward, which I think is a natural question, okay, that you'll all have, is that I don't think we could expect our friends at Smart Watt to move forward with the project without a signed agreement that outlines the scope of work and the requirements to get the right documents and so forth. We'll complete the IGA and the report. And the process there is then to come back to the City Council and submit that report to you so you understand what the project is all about. And then as a follow-up to that, there would be a preparation of a performance contract in accordance to the law, okay, that would outline the scope of work of the project and exactly what Smart Watt is going to be guaranteeing. Okay, and I think that's a key word. They're going to be guaranteeing the savings on the project. So in a nutshell, that's where I'm at with the project. When I met with the mayor said he wanted to review the agreement in more detail, wanted to review it with the staff, and when he's completed with that review, then he would get back to me. So the mayor has the agreement, again, positive meeting, but I'm still waiting for him to come back.
How long does he have the agreement now?
I would say probably a little over a month. Yeah, I would, Councilwoman, I would say that it's a little over a month.
Okay, thank you.
Before I ask, Greg Royer or Tony Acronis to explain what an investment grade audit is, do you have any questions on from a process point of view of where we're at, or?
No, we just can't move forward until the agreement's signed.
Correct.
Did you ever meet with the city administrator? How does he feel about this? Because you said you need some savings numbers and you need numbers verified before we can move on with the audit.
Right. I think the business manager is an important part of the process. I don't think it's a time-consuming part of the process, but obviously a business manager has to understand the finances behind this, the budgets, and so forth. But I've requested meetings, but those meetings haven't taken place yet.
Now, can you get the numbers that are needed from the Alan, since he handles the liquid fuel? And
Yeah,
is that...
I've worked with Alan, and I've worked with Frankie Vito, okay, over the last couple of months. They were part of the original team. They've done a great job. They've been very cooperative. Frankie's crews do the best job with the tools that they have, okay, and Alan has gotten me a lot of the records, and so those two they've performed very well, in my opinion.
So all we need is we need a signature to move on.
To move on.
For the IGA. Now, the IGA costs the city nothing.
That's correct.
It doesn't bind us into a contract. It just
There's no quid pro quo here. We've got to come back, and somebody's got to face the city council on that.
Is there any way, if the mayor doesn't sign this, would SmartWatt move on with a signature from council? Because it's not a contract. It's not really...
Obviously, working with the city, maybe I have the SmartWatt guys answer that. I can't answer on their behalf, but I'm sure they'll be more than happy, Jeff, to come up. Could I? What?
Yeah, that might be a good idea right now. I think one of the things is if you've ever run into a situation like that where I think I'm understanding what Councilman Casad is saying here, and whether it be with council might agree with it, but for some reason whatsoever the administration would not. If there's I don't want to build a conflict where there isn't, but I think if I'm
well, it's not a contract. It's just
no. I'm just talking about whether or not we see eye to eye on it.
Okay. I'll have Greg come up and talk about the contract. This is a 10-year term. We're looking at $800,000 in electricity savings, and
right.
I always tout the work we've done in the past. You're at 4 cents a kilowatt hour now for the street lighting system. I went out and got a price for 2015 when that expires, and to be honest with you, it's over 6 cents. The market's changed a lot, so you're going to have an increase just in the electricity bill of another $20,000 if nothing's done. So there's a good basis for moving forward with it. But I've allotted my time, so why don't I have the people that need to make that commitment come up and talk with you, okay?
Thank you.
Good evening.
So as Joe was explaining, the first step is the IGA, which is a IGA agreement, which is a 2-page agreement with a scope of work attached to it. And essentially the scope of work is for us to verify fixtures, wattages, verify counts, run photometric measurements on the existing fixtures to make sure we're going to meet the same levels, make sure we have all the up-to-date billing information on the utility side, because based on what we submitted for the RFP, those utility numbers are 6-8 months old at this point. So it's a critical step into making sure that the numbers are as accurate as possible, because we have to guarantee this project for 10 years. In the way the RFP was written, not only the energy, but also the maintenance of the system. So what that means is if you have a fixture fail, our crews come back out to fix that. So we've got to make darn sure that this is as accurate and solid as possible. So that's the first step. I've got 2 signed IGA agreements with me. The way the law is written, I don't see any reason why you can't enter into this agreement tonight. You've got full authority to sign this. There's no cost associated with it. So I'll leave these with you. Once we perform the IGA, that's going to be about a 4 to 6 week process. Give us time to collect all that data and put everything into an investment grade audit format, which is a document that you keep. And then the next step from there is to enter into a guaranteed savings agreement, or GSA. And I've brought copies to leave behind if you wanted to review them or have your attorneys take a look. Because while the IGA is going on, it's a good chance for us to work out the T's and C's on the contract. And then once the audit is submitted, then we can move right into construction. So that's the plan at this point. Does that makes sense to everyone here.
I don't have a problem with it. My problem is, though, I would really like Chris to give us the ability to tell us if we're legally able to do this or not.
Okay.
So maybe what we could do is submit it to Chris. Hopefully by the next meeting, we have an answer. I'm willing to call Chris now on the phone to see if we can get him to get an answer.
Okay.
But this way, we're covered as a body, and we're not in trouble because I don't want to have to sign something and say we didn't have the ability to do it. all
Yeah,
right?
right.
And as long as you've come this far, a little bit more time, I don't think will hurt, because if we do it wrong, then it's start from scratch all over again, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how anybody else feels.
No, that's fine. That's-
Yeah,
Where's
we'll
our
check with
council
Chris.
solicitor at? Or council advisor, since,
Well, he hasn't been paid. His contract wasn't signed either. We can't seem to get anybody to sign anything for the city, so this is why, we can't sign it, quite evident. Chris Lesser is getting paid. He doesn't seem to be working for the entire city, so I would like to see him here.
When you do the audit itself, is it on-site, light by light? Is there, in conjunction with what the city knows it has? Is it a combination? How exactly is the audit itself done?
Yeah, it would be a combination. So we'd obviously want to work with the city's maintenance team.
Right.
We do have a pretty accurate count of your existing lighting, but we would take a sampling of various sections throughout the city and, verify that information. There would be language in the contract. If for some reason after we did the IGA and somebody ran 10 poles over, there'd be just a language that would spell out the cost per fixture for a change order if extras needed to be added. So it's pretty solid. I mean, it's engineers on site collecting data, waiting till nighttime to collect light readings from each fixture, not every single fixture, but a sampling of fixtures on different types of streets, your secondary streets, your main streets, the decorative lighting, different fixture types as well.
Would there be in regards to certain areas of the city that we might feel need to be lit more than what they are now?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a means for us to work that in as well?
Absolutely.
Because, I'm not suggesting any particular area right now, but there may come a time or before the installation actually goes on that we would say, this area we feel is not lit up to par, or the
Right.
streets may tell us that, or the police may even tell us that, or somebody else may tell us that.
Mm-hmm.
And if there would be a need to improve that, that would be included within this as well.
Yeah, that's a great point, because that's really the purpose of this.
Right.
Is, to make sure we're addressing
Well,
all the
to
issues.
or better than.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks to do the audit. By putting this off, and you get that point, can you do the work in the winter, or is the work to actually change the lights? Or are we talking we're going to be putting this off for 6 to 8 months and lose all that savings? And possibly our guaranteed
It's going to be
price?
tough. I mean, when
That's-
you're dealing with 4-foot-high snowbanks and trying to get, on an already narrow street, a bucket truck with flaggers and spotters directing traffic, it makes it a lot more
That's
difficult.
so the longer we put this off, it's not going to just start up. We need 4 to 6 weeks after this is signed to even start moving into the next phase of changing out the lights and
Right.
the savings. And we could possibly lose that savings on the electric that we negotiated, correct?
Well, if that occurs, then it's not our fault for dragging our feet. We've done
I
our
understand. I
part.
mean, I saw we have 3 pages of out street lights now that we're waiting, I guess, till this gets through. I mean, the one in front of my house has been out for 2 months now, too. It's not on the list. I think it's unsafe, and it's a waste of money when it's right there for be saved by dragging their feet on. Because we're not the only one that's doing projects like this. I mean, I think the HCA just signed into a contract this week, I think it was in the paper, that they're,
Our energy.
it's just basically the same kind of project. So I don't,
Yeah, there's a lot of cities and towns that are moving towards the, this direction on funding projects like this. It's a good mechanism to get it done. It doesn't increase your taxes, doesn't affect your debt limit. It's a self-funding project, so it just makes a lot of sense.
Now, is there a chance that you could walk away from this on us by not signing this, by not getting this project? Like, since we're not in contract with you, is there a way you just pick up and say, Hazleton's dragging their feet too long, we're out?
I mean, we're not going anywhere, so we do want to work with the city. But if we can't, get some skin in the game from the city just on a simple contract like this, I'm a little worried that when it comes time to the main contract, what's going to happen?
Okay. Now, the solicitor said it's okay, and he's okay with it. And the mayor says he's okay with it, but he just won't sign it. Is that where you left your negotiations?
Joe, can you comment?
He wanted a little more time to look at it, Jeff.
Oh.
Discussion for clause, I think it's signed agreement, but he wanted some more time to think about it.
And that was a month ago.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you that I received any negative feedback, things that I wasn't come across that way. But I don't have a signed agreement.
And you can't do the audit without, you protect the both of us with the audit, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, really, the purpose of this
That's
is...
your work. So you don't want to come in and give that to our city engineer after you do all the work on
Right,
it.
there's
That's not fair to
the
them.
component of this which protects us is the confidentiality. So
Right.
it says
Right.
we didn't do a $50,000 audit to just hand over and,
No,
bid to a
we
low bid
understand.
contract.
No, and you need to protect yourself. You're in business, that's what you do, all right? And we don't have a problem with that. We're just stuck between a rock and a hard place. Now, you said everything seemed fine. Maybe the mayor, for whatever reason, is taking his time on this for his own good reason, whatever reason he has. Maybe he's ready to do it now. We don't know. Maybe if you get in contact with him again and you can find out.
And I'm going to do that. Maybe he's looking at a longer range plan, trying to fit it into to a plan, but there was nothing really negative that came back. I just don't have a signed agreement. To answer your question, Jeff, okay, I don't believe the Smart Watt people will walk away.
But they're not
I believe
locked-
I
they're-
will.
They're not locked into.
Okay, I mean, I'm not going to spin my tires, okay, for forever. Okay, I don't mean that as a threat, but I think we got a great project here. And speaking beyond the technical aspects of the project itself, the successful projects I've been involved with, okay, we get input from the chief, he has surveillance cameras. Does he need higher lighting levels there? Frankie Vito, do you have special areas that you have problems with? Frankie, how could we help you? Alan, you do all the paperwork associated with the street lighting system. You manage it. You should be submitting forms to PPL to get the savings. We want to make sure we get input there. So successful projects I've been involved with, everybody's working toward the same objective, the same goals. We need to have that.
What I would suggest maybe, and I don't want to speak out of turn, Mr. President, but I would encourage you to go back and
Okay.
to ask the mayor, and Mr. President, would it maybe be in council's best interest to have a letter prepared to forward to the mayor as well with council's suggestion to move on this ASAP as well?
Yeah, we could do that. Lisa, you could drop a letter saying that the mayor is putting this project in danger of not being completed if he doesn't sign the contract. What are you waiting for?
That way, at least we can help you in expediting as much as possible what we can do.
It's not
Yeah,
even
I
the
mean-
contract we're asking to sign. We just
Well,
want it to
exactly.
be audited. It's not
Exactly.
costing us anything.
Right.
Chris didn't have problems with the IGA, so maybe what Chris needs to rule on is what is the process for moving forward. So this is, I think, a process-related question.
Okay.
Okay, as my opinion, I'm not an attorney, okay, but I think it's a process-related question, and how do you move a project forward?
And I think that the actions that we're suggesting right now may very well be a help to expedite whatever is going to go on.
That sounds great, and I hope I've answered your questions and
Well,
provided you
Chris
Yep.
will, yeah, Chris will go right to the
The
mayor.
update you were
Yeah, you
looking
could
for?
copy Chris on it, too.
Yeah.
Jeff?
Fine. I just can't see throwing wasted money or wasted savings away for 6 months now.
Okay.
But
Thank you very much, and thank you for your the discussion.
Thank
Okay,
so
thank
much.
you very much.
For giving
Thank
us
you.
your
Thank you.
time
Thank you,
and
gentlemen.
coming in again.
Okay.
There's two signed IGA agreements here, and then a sample copy of the GSA, which is the next to, enter in to do the project. And then they're both electronic hands.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
And maybe we can have,
Thank you.
thank you. Maybe we can have copies of those made then.
Yeah, I'll give them to Lisa.
Yeah, there you go.
Just ask one thing, and at any point in time in the process, if you feel like this isn't going anywhere, I understand a signed IGA doesn't really get us anywhere, correct? I mean, the whole idea is to go forward with the
Right.
project. If you feel uncomfortable with it, or you don't feel like it's something you want to do, that's your responsibility. Just obviously, we want to do that, the thing gets the ring.
Honestly, it's not really, I don't think, on our part. We're just waiting for the approval.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Okay, that's it for our work session.
I
Any
want to
other-
talk about a couple of things, Jack, before.
ahead.
That would be a work session, I guess.
Go ahead.
The rental inspection, I guess the rental the registration is going to go out. And I would like to talk about the rental inspection. I think we should amend the current ordinance to reflect a zero charge for inspection. In the last 3 years, there's a total of $214,000 in revenue that was supposedly going to be, and counted on it, it's not there. So I just think while they're working on the budget right now, that we should make that zero if there's no intention on collecting it.
Might be in litigation, but I'm not sure
That's
where
what I
we
said,
sit
no.
with Halo,
I just think we should think about before it's put in the budget next year is another $100,000.
We have to discuss that with Chris to see where we're at.
I asked Chris if this was okay to amend it to zero, and he said that'd be fine. Just to amend that one part
Well,
of.
yeah, well, we may very well do that, but I know Mike's going to work on some stuff for the ordinance and maybe make some recommendations about how we could change it.
Okay. I just don't want it to be put in the budget as, because we're going to be
Well,
talking.
if we
and
make
that's-
some recommendations and Halo drops their lawsuit, maybe we can go ahead with the rental registration, which we might do.
Okay.
Okay.
Another thing I wanted to ask is, I've been working on the land bank idea, and to move forward with that, I need the redevelopment authority, the blighted building committee, the vacant property review committee, and the planning commission all in order. And there's supposed to be one council member appointed to the vacant property review committee. So I would just want to know if there's any objections, that I would ask the mayor to appoint me to that.
Well, you could be appointed there. Well, the mayor hasn't filled any of
No,
those
but
positions.
I'm
but
hoping this would
that's-
jumpstart the way of opening conversation
Yeah,
with
I have
him
no
over it.
problem with that, Jeff. Yeah, you and the mayor could have fun with those committees.
Okay.
Work closely with them.
Okay.
If I can make one suggestion, and this is more of an observation than it is a pro or a con along the way. But and you mentioned a number of these committees now with the Planning Commission and the Blighted Committee and so forth. One of the things that I think is being overlooked, and I think you're right, we have not had enough people that have been appointed, and I think have sound working committees at this point within the city. Until all of those committees are created and put into a viable working order to do what they were intended to do, I feel like sometimes we you know what, I don't want to end up going too far and then putting the cart before the horse. There are a lot of good things that these committees themselves can and should be doing in regards to the city of Hazleton, and it would seem like these are the first steps that we need to take. And I agree with you to that extent that they need to be put in order. I'd like to see them working and see what goes on, too. Because, how long have we not had a planning commission that's met? How long have we not had some of these other committees that need to address the problems of the town and have not met? And until we do that,
Or not filled.
or not filled. And I know that they get appointed, but you know what? I want to give them a chance too. And then, once we have that in order, then you take the next step. And so I agree with you, but I would like to see some of these things, these bodies, really given a chance to get their engines running and do what they are intended to do. So it's not in opposition to, it's more so in, I agree with you, let's take care of that first part, and let's really do what needs to be done. Again, we're talking about appointments that...
And I
again,
wish you luck in trying to get them running, because I tried 3 years ago with the mayor, and you see how far it got.
It's kind of like he drags his feet. Yeah.
There's just
Thank
one,
you for your comment.
There's just one other thing I wanted to,
And yes, he has tried. I know
I-
he had a passion about it.
Yes.
And yes, he did try. And unfortunately, maybe we need hearing aids for the mayor at this point. I don't know.
and there's one other thing I feel kind of obligated to tell everybody. I had contacted the E&O insurance company, I guess within the last month, since the last meeting. And I asked them the question concerning employees that are hired not up to the code, according to the code. And I got an answer that he said it depends, which was very concerning. He said the insurance covers an employee of the city. So I then asked him, would they consider somebody hired by executive order or without the consent of council? And he said, again, it depends on the situation. So I asked him, how about a hired position that doesn't formally exist? And he kind of hinted around that if they're not an official employee of the city, the insurance will not cover them. So I just feel obligated that I should tell you, because if they gave me that answer, I don't know if anybody else would want to contact them or not, but...
Did you contact Chris Lesser about that?
But I contacted Chris Lesser. I left messages for Chris Lesser.
And you haven't heard anything back?
No. So I don't know if I just wanted to make everybody aware that I contacted the E&O insurance company, and I have his information if anybody would want.
Why we're on
I'd like to see that.
While we're on talking about Chris, he wants to have an executive session to go over litigation in the next, he said we could meet anytime in the morning at his place. I know you're free in the mornings. Are you free?
Wait. I think he should come here.
No, actually, that was
excuse me.
I suggested his place because it'll save an hour on travel time and
Yeah,
save us
well,
$120.
it'll-
That was my suggestion, to meet at his
All right.
place.
Yeah, I can
And-
understand that
and-
because we have to pay for him to come
Yes,
here
and
then to go.
so I suggested we meet at his place,
Maybe
and that
we
way.
should have our council meetings there too.
Well, we have his. If we have any questions, we can grab them and.
Well, first, I'd like to be reintroduced to him, but that's a different story. Second of all, it's now he's interested in meeting when, and Keith, I hope I don't mind throwing you into the mix here, but now there's two of us that are getting ready to have to go back to school, and
No, I can't meet during the morning.
No, that's.
I
not
can't.
his
You know what? If
I
it's
leave
a-
my house at 5:30. There's no meeting in the morning unless people want to meet at 3
exactly.
o'clock.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
Most
good
of
for
my
me.
classes are in the morning.
Yeah, I know. 'cause you
I
won't
would
wait-
really
you won't
like
go
to
bed
see
yet.
the guy or the gentleman, the solicitor, try to accommodate us a little bit, rather than I'll meet at his office, but I'd like to be able to meet at his office when it's convenient for us to be able to do that in an executive session.
And not only that, you're limited, like to Mondays and Tuesdays, actually, Jeff, so it would
No.
have to.
I leave Hazleton about 9:30, so I'm up free any morning till 9:30, and I'm usually off Monday, possibly Monday, usually Tuesday for council meetings.
So it would have to be in an evening, so this way he can get home from school or whatever he's doing. You can get home from
Right.
college, whatever you're doing. And
Well, wait. If we meet in a meeting, then Jeff can't meet, so it's one or the other. So
Have
it's
a
either
before
Jeff.
council meeting and have them come here.
But,
Like
Yeah.
it's always been.
If we do it on a Monday or a Tuesday, Jeff can go.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll figure something
about
out,
that.
but
It'd be nice if he just came here.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
he's at another meeting tonight.
He's at where, the school board?
Well, he has 17 solicitorships, so he's at one of them.
We need a milk carton with his picture.
Anything else?
No, I just want to bring up the things. I did go through the personnel policy, and I made an organizational chart, what I could find as legal positions, because I asked around, and City Hall doesn't have one. So I did come up with that, but that's it.
If you could share some of that stuff with us, then.
Oh, you can have that?
No, I mean some of the charts that you put together, and I'd also like that information that you were talking about before about the errors and omissions.
Okay,
Okay?
sure.
Okay, is that it for work session?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. 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 Okay, thanks, Jeff.